So I'm doing this video because of the Christian message I heard today. So the person said the reason why a lot of Christian related stuff was banned in Russia was because the Christians in Russia grew complacent. You understand? And I find that statement false, especially as a student of history and international relation. I had my first degree in history and international relation. So I would go back to the Russian Revolution of 1970. Actually, it's not because the Christians in Russia became complacent, it's actually the opposite of it. The last emperors, or the last emperors of Russia, you understand, monarch emperors of Russia, I think Alexandra, um, she became overly dependent on a Christian religious person. That's in the name of Rasputin. Do you understand? Everything she was it almost felt as if it was Rasputin that was ruling Russia. Do you understand? And he was giving her bad advice, obviously. And aside from that, they were not taking the masses seriously. You understand? You're living in splendor. You're offering your pastor or your religious person that you reverence, giving him all the preferences, privileges. Meanwhile, the masses were suffering. So the Bolshevik, I might not be pronouncing this right, but the Bolshevik decided to, they were part of the people that actually pushed for the Russian Revolution of 1970, ended the monarch. They ended the monarch, killed, which killed the family. That's the last monarch of the last monarch family of Russia. Killed them and all that. So you cannot say, oh, because the Christians in Russia became complacent, so that's why a lot of things related to Christianity was banned. That's why Christianity is not strong as it is. Actually, the empress was overly, it's just like, I would use Nigeria as a case study in this essence. It's just like the way some Nigerians reverence their pastors, you understand, puts, I'm not saying you shouldn't give honor to who honor is due. I'm not saying you shouldn't respect religious leaders, but you know what I'm saying, the worship behind it, as if the person is God himself, instead of hearing from God. Like, if they don't hear from their pastor, they can't do anything. Do you understand? So it's not because the Christians in Russia became complacent. That's why Christianity is the way it is in Russia, or that's why a lot of stuff in Russia, Christian related stuff, was banned. The last empress of Russia, that's as Alexandra, the last monarch, the last empress in the monarch, reverenced, was worshipped Rasputin. Yes, Rasputin and the last empress was part of the people that caused the fall of Russian Empire, and the major reason why people became lukewarm towards Christianity, because hey, the person in charge, like Rasputin, you understand, was basically like he was in charge. He was doing he was she was doing everything that she was doing everything that Rasputin was asking her to do. Do you understand? And Rasputin was selfish. Do you understand? He was making her make decisions, do stuff that were actually centered around him. It wasn't really about the people. You understand? It wasn't really about the people. So the monarch are living in splendor, they are living in lavishness, and then your pastor or your religious leader is